It appears that former President Donald Trump is in a little bit of a panicked rage as his legal issues continue to mount, not the least of which is the felony offense of being in private possession of some classified and top secret documents, except, outside of the accepted protocol. Now, interestingly enough, he actually caused this problem himself by signing a law in 2018 that took this from a misdemeanor to a felony. So congratulations, you have bit yourself in your own ass. And he is now starting to feel the teeth. Now, shortly before 9 a.m., the former president opened up with this fun little rant. He uncorked it, so to speak. I love that. I love opening up anything, any sort of statement that starts out as, even though I am as innocent as a person can be, the most innocent, tremendously innocent. Nobody could ever be more innocent than me. Let me tell you what, I've never seen, everybody keeps telling me how innocent I am. Fun. And despite my campaign being spied on by the radical left, the FISA court, being lied to and defrauded, all of the many hoaxes and scams that were illegally placed on me by very sick and demented people, and without even mentioning the many crimes of Joe and Hunter Biden, all revealed in great detail in the laptop from hell. Let me just say, laptop, the guy who actually worked in the laptop, he's like, oh yeah, people keep trying to sneak in things that aren't true. This is a guy who found, who turned over the laptop, and he's like, hey, look, people keep trying to put stuff on there that's not true. Isn't that weird? No, it's not weird at all. They want to put the stuff in there. Okay. But anyway, it looks more and more like the fake news media is pushing hard for the sleaze to do something that should not be done. Okay. I mean, again, he's trotting out all the old hits, right? We got Hunter Biden. We got Obama that spied on my campaign. Obama. The sleaze. We got the sleaze. Who's the sleaze? Who the hell is the sleaze? I don't know who the sleaze is. What are we talking about? And what is something that should not be done? What? You mean like enforcing the law that you yourself had signed? I can only assume that is the what he was talking about, but nobody knows. Nobody knows what he's talking about. I don't. I can't figure it out. I don't know. All right, but anyway, here's the thing about that, right? So wait, you signed this law, and then you did the thing that the law says that you can't do, and then you're saying I should be exempt from my own law because I didn't break it in the first place. And even though I did break it, even though I did break that law that I myself had put into place, I'm exempt from it because A, I didn't do it, and also if I did do it, I didn't. I'm innocent. What? No, look. Here's the thing what happened, okay? So the guy was so gung-ho about punishing Hillary Clinton on the emails that he basically hoisted himself by his own proverbial petard. Yes. The dotard's petard, if you will. But then again, he thinks he's exempt from his own laws and by extension, pretty much any law. And so this guy is the lawless president, or lawless former president, I should say. But there's more. Joe Biden said he knew nothing about the break-in of Mar-a-Lago or the greatest political attack in the history of the U.S. Does anybody really believe this? Why would... Okay. Look at the assumptions here. Okay? Yes, Biden said, yeah, no, I didn't know about it. The FBI did. And Merrick Garland did because that's the Department of Justice. But look at the assumptions here. He pretty much tells on himself because as president, of course, Donald Trump would know about political attacks on his opponents. because he would be the one doing those. But again, this wasn't a political attack. Again, what we know from the facts is that the archives had asked him repeatedly to return all the documents that Trump had in his possession. They said, look, hey, we know that you have this stuff, okay? We know that you have it. Please just give it back, okay? And now what Trump did is that he didn't give it back. First, he had to go through the boxes. He had to pick out the stuff that he wanted to keep and sent the rest back, claiming that, hey, look, I gave you everything. I gave you everything. Now, his lawyer even signed off on that, meaning either that the lawyer didn't know. That's a weird Freudian slip, right? Or he was instructed to lie on Donald Trump's behalf. I don't know which is the case. Either way, both things would be bad, especially since Trump had over 300 classified documents, some of which were at a security level that was so high where you were only able to read them legally in a secure government facility. So, yeah, what we have is some clear criminality here, okay? And again, ironically, criminality of his own law. It's hilarious. But no, there's more. There's more. The Justice Department and FBI are leaking at levels never seen before. And I did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong at all. They're leaking. They're leaking like a sieve. Okay? It's the leakers. It's the leakers. And then, of course, finally, we have this. The radical left Democrat prosecutors are legally trying to circumvent for purely political gain the Presidential Records Act, under which I have done absolutely nothing wrong. It cannot be circumvented for me or any other president. They illegally raided my home and took things that should have not been taken. They even broke into my safe. An unthinkable act. Look, all of these statements, all of these are, totally from a totally normal, rational person, very, very stable genius, someone who's...
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
He's like a smart person who would never ensnare himself in his own law. In fact, I know what it is. It's the deep state. It's Antifa. It's
Obama.
It's somehow the radical left FBI, which is full of leaks.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
You could never handle all the leaks and the flushing, from the lefty radical FBI. Again, insane. No, look, this is the same FBI that tried to get MLK Jr. to, off himself. It is the same FBI that in 2006 spied on mosques, Muslims in New York City for no goddamn reason. They went and said, hey, what would be a great idea? If we were just to go and spy on innocent Muslims. That's the FBI that's somehow radical left? Really? Again, and here's the thing, right? So, ironically, some of the conservative criticisms of the FBI are actually very valid in some cases. Now, not in this case, though. Yes, the FBI has spied on innocent people. Yes, the government has spied on innocent people. We know that. The government has done raids of, mainly left-wing socialist groups. And a lot of those, again, rubber stamped by judges that are very right-wing. And so in that sense, you had the FBI that has constantly and consistently been targeting the left. Now, and that's because law enforcement in general tends to be more right-wing. Okay? But that said, Donald Trump is such an obvious lifelong criminal that even the FBI including some of his own appointees. Christopher Wray was appointed by Donald Trump and approved by all the Republicans in the Senate to take over. Even then, they're like, hey, man, yo, this is so completely, clearly illegal. And we actually might have to do something. We actually have to do our jobs because, because we don't, this guy is going to completely shred the rule of law and flush it down the toilet.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
So there we go. Again, something he has literally actually done. It is so bad that even people, again, skeptical of the search, skeptical of the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago, have said, you know what? This actually does look really bad for Donald Trump. And I give you this example of a writer, Andrew McCarthy, very conservative person, who writes for the National Review, not exactly known as a lefty outlet. Now, in a recent piece titled, Trump World's Mar-a-Lago Search Offense Backfires, McCarthy writes that Trump has done himself no favors, trying to depict the search of his home as a politically driven raid by an out-of-control Gestapo. Yes, that's what he's been claiming. It is a Gestapo, or
Nancy Pelosi's Gazpacho police.
That, is aimed at bringing him down at any cost, He writes, this has been compounded, McCarthy believes, by Solomon's release of a letter from acting archivist Deborah Steidel, a wall to Trump's lawyers that outlined how he had not complied with the National Archives' repeated requests to return documents. Clearly, the purport of Solomon's news report was to bolster the Trump narrative that Biden is using the Justice Department as a political weapon in hopes of eliminating Trump as his potential 2024 opponent, writes McCarthy. Okay, but the problem is that archivist Wall's letter shreds Trump's claim, most recently proclaimed in a lawsuit filed with great fanfare on Monday morning, that he has been completely cooperative and transparent in dealing with the FBI and the Justice Department, and therefore that the forcible search of his Florida estate was an unnecessary, inexplicable abuse of power. So once again, his actions come back to bite him in the ass. Idiot. Moron. McCarthy continues. He says, and if it's true Trump kept documents marked top secret that related to special access programs, the ones that you have to read in a government, a facility, McCarthy charges, then it would mark an extraordinarily serious breach in national security protocol. This is not someone who is a lefty. This is a conservative saying, this is bad. This is real bad. He said, if you were trying not to get indicted, the best defense is usually not a good offense. And it is never an offense that backfires. Oh, truer words never spoken. And again, that's what he's doing. He's throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. But unfortunately for him, he's such an idiot and a monumental liar and criminal that every time he tries to say something, contradicts his previous statements from lawyers. And so he just keeps digging that hole further and further and further down. There ain't much left to go. That hole is already pretty big. The guy's in trouble, and he absolutely knows it.